Now, the Migration Museum project works with schools to offer interactive workshops, a safe place for discussion on the sensitive and ever topical theme of migration. It's an inquiry into who we are, where we come from, and where we're going. There's plans to create a first dedicated migration museum to tell the story of movement into and out of the UK in a fresh and engaging way. So, tonight we have Sophie Henderson and Emily Miller to tell us all about this topical project. Please come to the stage.
So good evening everyone, and thank you for coming this evening and listening to our pitch. First of all, take a look at these pictures if you can, and if you can't, well, you have to just imagine what they are, I'm sorry. So you have to guess from their reaction what they were. Hands up if you've seen, and hands up and no talking, because I've seen what you're like. Hands up if you've seen images like this in the press recently. Thank you, hands down. Now hands up again if you think you've got all of the answers to what you've just seen. Okay, and I'm with you on that, so look around, no one's got their hands up. Many people feel the same way as you. Now imagine I was asking you that question and you were all 12 years old. We're here to bid for your support to give secondary school pupils the opportunity to grapple with these themes and developments in workshops with us. So who are us? Who are we? I'm going to hand over to my director to tell you about the Migration Museum project. Thanks, Sophie.
We aim to establish a new national migration museum for Britain, an inspiring, moving institution that reflects the really important role that migration has played in Britain's national story. When you look at the big picture, immigration isn't just a news story. People have been coming to this country ever since the time there wasn't anybody here. When you look at the big picture, Britain's migration story isn't just about incomers, it's very much about emigration too. This is a big story with important themes, and it's missing from the cultural sector. We aim to establish Britain's first go-to museum to tell the story of migration, to put that story where we think it belongs, right at the heart of the national consciousness. We can create something really popular, we think, with something in it for absolutely everybody, and a place where people can go to think about and discuss in a calm and well-informed way the thing that everybody wants to talk about now, and that's migration. These are the things that we do. We put on exhibitions and events. We're looking for a site, which you'll hear about later on, and at our heart is our approach to young people through the education programme that Emily's going to tell you about.
Thank you. So I've been managing the MMP education programme for the past 2 years, since its start, and our aim overall is to increase and improve teaching and learning about migration themes in schools. I've delivered workshops and projects directly to over 2,500 pupils and many international groups as well. I've also worked with networks of academies and equipped teacher trainees on these issues. So we've built up a proven track record over the past 2 years and really established what I hope are strong relationships with the schools we work with. Here you can see the range of kind of education work we do, from workshops, collaborations with artists, facilitating drama performances and guiding pupils around the exhibitions we've either created or that we've been part of at the South Bank Centre, National Maritime Museum in Leicester, etc. So migration, everyone is talking about migration. It's one of the biggest global issues of our time. The time is right. It's hugely complicated, as we've seen. I don't think anyone had all the answers, unless I'm mistaken. Teachers lack confidence and time to address these issues in schools. And if any of you have teaching friends in here, you'll know the pressures right now on teachers from both below and from above are immense. Being an external provider, it can actually be easier for us to tackle topics like this in schools with young people. I've witnessed that, and also a teacher confirmed this just yesterday when I worked with 40 of his pupils. With this project, we aim to provide a safe space for pupils to explore migration and ask their questions. We do not intend to offer the answers. It's not that simple. But we do think people deserve the right to learn more and to debate with each other and with us. With your support, we're proposing to research, prepare and train a team to deliver 30 half-day workshops in schools with me over the next year, reaching around 900 pupils. Many of you work in finance, I think possibly, and so you'll guess that with more money, obviously we can go further. Our main priority, though, that I want you to know about is that in these workshops, we plan to co-deliver them with an individual who has experienced forced migration directly. I recently co-delivered a workshop with Hassan, who's just here, if you want to ask any questions to him, at the South Bank Centre Youth Festival, and none of the people we hosted there had ever met a refugee or an asylum seeker, let alone ask their questions of them. So delivering these workshops in partnership, we believe, will add the human angle that the press and statistics just simply can't provide. We aim to work with a mix of schools in London and reach of London, but also this is our chance to test our work with schools that are less diverse and harder to reach. I think probably I'm going to talk about the structure. If someone can ask me about the structure of the workshops and the questions, that would be helpful, because I believe that time is running late. Please cooperate with me here. Anyway, so we'll cover that soon. How are we going to measure the impact of these workshops, which you will hear about soon? We're going to measure our impact in relation to three things. One, increasing pupil knowledge about the ever-changing facts of what's going on abroad and here. Two, increasing their understanding of the themes at play. And three, increasing their empathy towards those who are affected. We know that number three is hard to manage and hard to achieve. You know, affecting empathy is difficult. Thank you. But I believe that the chance to meet and learn from someone who's actually experienced this directly is really important. Susie is a head of department that I've worked with before from a school, and she confirms that nothing has more impact than visitors coming in and speaking directly to pupils. We're going to have design a survey that will ask the same questions a week before the workshop, straight after the workshop, and a month after the workshop to see what's happening, and then that data will inform how those workshops are changed and as we go along. So in conclusion, migration is and its human costs are one of the biggest issues we're facing at the moment, and their effects are going to be felt by young people both now in their schools but also in the future as they enter the workplace and prepare to vote. We're all trying to get our heads around this. We're asking for your help to give them an important opportunity to explore migration with us and someone who's lived through this directly. Together we can have an impact on young people at this really crucial time. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to your questions and your generous support.